Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I'm answering a question from one of our longtime viewers, Patte. And she asks, I'm using SEMRush to audit a site, and one of the issues that SEMRush is flagging is that a lot of the CSS and JavaScript files are not minified. Now, minification, for those who don't know what that is, in any code file, when you take out all the white space, the formatting, that is called minification. It removes some of the extra bytes, some of the extra weight, so that when you go to download a page, it just saves like some of that extra time, and the idea is to speed up the loading time of the page. Now, Patte goes on to say that she built this site with Beaver Builder, which is a page builder for WordPress, and minifying it might take a little bit of an effort, but she wants to know like how important of an issue this is. Now, one thing that I have always said, continue to say, site speed is important, but it's not the number one or the number two factor. A lot of people will kind of speak about it in those terms, kind of like site speed is like one of the most important things. It is important, but the two things that I've found that really make a difference is if you get on good hosting, if you're on if you have a WordPress site, if you're on something like WP Engine or Kinsta or Flywheel, some of these other ones, most of them right now and today are reselling Google Cloud, and then they're putting their own interface on top of it. For example, I know WP Engine, they're reselling Google Cloud, and then they put like a what's called Nginx like on top of it. They all have kind of their own kind of spin on how they do the hosting, but for the most part, if you have good hosting with a good time to first byte, which is how long it takes when somebody types in your web address in a browser, how fast the initial files start downloading. That's the time to first byte. If that is good, and on most hosting, good hosting, hosting that's $30, $40, $50 a month or whatever it is, it's going to be pretty good. But if you're paying like $3, $5, $10 a month for hosting, your time to first byte generally is not going to be that good, because how the hosting companies make money with that type of pricing model is they jam as many sites into one server as possible, and so all those websites are sharing resources. Now, these other ones that I've talked about before, for the most part, they are also shared hosting, but they're not crammed into that level, and the way that it's set up is much different than it is in a traditional Apache cPanel. Now, a lot of that's going to be like talk that goes like this. That's okay. All I'm saying to you is time to first byte is probably the most important thing. Now, the second most important thing is the time to first meaningful paint. Now, you can do the Google page speed test. You can go to Google Lighthouse. You can find how long it takes until the browser starts to actually render the page. That's the time to first meaningful paint. Now, if that is comparable to any of your competition and the time to first byte, if it's generally less than 350 milliseconds, that's usually pretty good. But the third thing to keep in mind too is if you are in an industry where all the websites suck and all the websites are slow, there's going to be a lot more leeway. Now, if you're in an industry where it's all the websites are fast and they download fast and everybody's like trying to optimize for speed, then it's going to be more important. If you're going up against like Amazon and stuff like that, now you don't have that type of resources. Not everybody does, but that's when it's going to be more important. The most important thing is, are you faster in time to first byte, meaningful first paint, and just overall how long does it take to download that page and for people to see stuff above the fold? That's the most important thing. Now, last thing that I really want to stress, this is super important. I did a video a while ago. It was called ranking the most important factors when it comes to, or giving like a 1 to 10 of like the most important factors when it comes to what's important to SEO. And I gave site speed, I forget what it was. It wasn't a 1, might have been like a 3 or something that I gave it. Content is the most important thing. Making sure that the content on the page matches like what people are trying to, the problem that they're trying to solve, the information that they're trying to get, the task that they're trying to complete. That's the most important thing. Making sure that your content is good, judged by that, matching, you know, what people are trying to do when they type in that search phrase. What are they actually trying to do? Or the majority of people, what are they trying to do? If your content matches that, and it's good content, and it's not, you know, written in, you know, broken English, it's going to be okay. Second most important thing when it comes to that is making sure that you have links from other sites where Google expects to see a site like yours getting links from. So in some cases you don't need a ton of links. In some cases you're going to need a lot of links from different websites. But the most important thing is, are these sites related to your website? Are they passing some of their accumulated domain authority onto your site by linking to your site? That link power, you know, passes around. But Google really expects to see sites in different categories getting links from specific sites that are important to those categories. That's a clue. After all that, I think the most important thing is user signals, and that is something that's determined by, are people actually satisfied by what's on the page? Now, my theory about how Google tracks this, and Google will never say this out loud, but they have to get information from somewhere, and only half the sites in the world have Google Analytics. So my suspicion is that they probably use something like Google Chrome to test user signals. And the reason why I say that is because sites that are better designed than sites that have inferior design tend to do well over time when the content is comparable. And that's just something that I've noticed. So after all that, I would say site speed is important. It's not the most important thing. So if you minify stuff, great. If you don't minify it, that's fine too, because even in site speed, minification is like one of the lower things that's lower on the list. So if SEMRush or Ahrefs or any other tool flags, you know, these things, just remember that those tools are measuring things that they can measure easily, which are usually the link profiles, things like the length of the title or the description, and things like the site speed. Those are things that they usually can measure with some degree of ease. But that's not the whole Google formula. That's not the whole ranking algorithm. That's something that's very important to realize. There's a lot of things that are not part of these SEO tools that you're going to have to observe and see what works and try and deduce why. These SEO tools will not be able to tell you exactly what to do. So don't obsess over minifying the files. If you can get it done, great. But don't obsess over it, because as I said, there's all these other things that are more important. Hope that answers this, Patte. And my name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown Design and SEO, and I'm here every single day answering questions on SEO. Thank you to all the new subscribers these last few months. We're over 500 subscribers. We're almost at 100,000 views. Really appreciate it. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. I know that we can do it, man. Momentum is on our side. That's it for now. I'll be back tomorrow with a new video. And until next time, peace.